I realize the guy in the guest chair over here is in no way a one-hit wonder, but we could find nothing better than 4 non-blondes to play him in, Rhino? Really?
I've been considered that, though. I have. So there was a show, and they got a little bit in trouble because they said I was, but I've had a couple of the top 20 records and then multiple number one videos. But I said, wait a minute, time out. I've had other top 40s, but you get on the countdown in top 40 and then top 30 sometimes and top 20. And I said, well, what do you consider a hit? You know, it's like Bob Seger said. Bob only had one number one song his entire career.
Yeah, which is weird.
And I think it was from a movie soundtrack. It wasn't even Main Street or We Got Tonight. You know, come on. It wasn't even these great, incredible songs that he had. Anyway.
Steve Azar in studio.
I'm here. I'm getting upset about the one-hit wonder thing. Hold on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's part of the deal.
We started him out firing him up, and it's all uphill from here.
It's all French fries.
All French fries. You told me that you were sitting in the green room getting upset that you weren't. You should have just come in here while we were having the conversation.
I didn't know if I'd be kicked out. I mean, I was ready to get into it. I love this show today. As always, love your show. And it's so interesting because folks are going to call, especially from Mississippi, are calling in with their mouth watering. So, I mean, you've already set the stage for lunch, I can tell you that. And Doe's, talking about Doe's, we love their fries. I mean, my wife and I go, and she makes me split a steak now. It's awful to go to Doe's with my wife. And it's part of the deal. And she goes, oh, aren't you happy that we did that? I said, yeah, and I'm not really happy, but I have to tell her that.
I would like that other half of the steak,
It's the key to 32
please.
years of marriage. You got to just do it. But sometimes I'm hungry, but the French fries, we have to put a quota on it because you can't stop.
Yes.
Great fries, man. They're so important.
They really are, and there's such a difference from one place to another with your French fries.
Such a difference. But, peanut, a lot of people, well, I say a lot, we're finding out more people are allergic to nuts. So peanut oil rules. But there is an oil called Clear that handles the heat a lot for a period of time. I learned this from my buddy who's a catfish biologist, my buddy Danny, in Stoneville, Mississippi. We call him Tweety, and he knows everything about oil. And Clear oil is really good. It's a good substitute.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it burns really good.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Get a whole conversation about it.
We're so educational here today.
Well,
I like
today
this.
it's always about education, I think. Don't you think, Rhino?
Oh, yeah.
It's education.
He's learned nothing. Don't listen to him.
We talked about how good you guys are live, and I'm sitting here going I'm so glad my show's taped because, you can ask me 1,000 questions. I think I'm good answering, but you can get stymied live. So I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, you are the exact opposite of when those problems come in. And here's what I mean by that. You can have a guest come in, and they sit down, and you'll ask them a question. It takes you 45 seconds to say it, and they answer it with, yeah.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know. I know it's a tough deal. And I always tell them, I preface this, listen, my listeners on In a Mississippi Minute don't want to hear me. They want to hear you. And so that helps usually. But then sometimes they'll go and they'll just tell you the whole life story as in like a nutshell, and you're going like, uh-oh, I got to take some little pieces of it. I got to pick the tree now. And I'm going like, how many minutes have I gone? But saying sometimes, and most times, it goes by really fast because I'm fascinated. I have Jim Sonnefeld from Hootie and the Blowfish, the drummer, really, really dear friend of mine. It was great to catch up with him. He's got a great new record out, Not Waiting on Sunday. It's just beautiful. He's in touch with his faith like you won't believe. Went through struggles many years ago, and he's a great athlete, great soccer player. He loves coaching soccer, but this song is fantastic. I needed it. He sent it to me last week, and I said, you got to do my show. And he said, absolutely. And then Richard Berge, who's been going through all sorts of stuff in the news, I guess about a month or two ago, let go by Young and the Restless because he broke COVID regulations. He had a negative test twice, but it wasn't 10 days. And so it's just a tough deal. Anyway, long story short, we dug into all that. So this week's is really interesting.
You know, something you said there that I want to bring out and talk about for a second. As an artist of acclaim, I'm now giving you that title.
I love you. Thank you.
You were talking about how, and you talked about this as well before we came on the air when you and I were just visiting and catching up, talking about how he has leaned into his faith with his new album and has really put it out there. Do you think a lot of people, even inside the music industry and inside entertainment, don't understand that that is the key to success, is to let it all go? Quit trying to figure out what people want and give them what you are, and your audience will find you.
That's it, Dave. That's exactly it. If you're vulnerable enough to do that, then the game is on. That you have your best shot to connect, because that's the most honest place it's ever going to come from. I love that. Who you are. You've got to bear it all. And you can't be afraid. It's what there's a saying in the music business from my old writers, co-publishers who had a lot of number ones, and he'd go, you can't be afraid if you're going to go down to go all the way. Scrape it all. Because you got to tell, because you have to go there and you have to let it, you have to spill it all out, and that's when the listener can relate, because a lot of listeners have been there or know somebody's been there or don't want to go there. You know, and that's where it's all about emotions. Sony, you know, you think about the first songs they ever wrote. Let It Be. What is it? What? Give me not Let It Be. Come on, help me out. Who do you Blowfish songs? Everybody, this is worse than French fries.
I only want to be with you.
When the sun comes up tomorrow. Come on.
Only want to be with you.
I only want to be with you. Yeah. Give me more.
I don't know. That's all.
What is wrong with me? Boy, this is why I don't do live radio.
I'm only one ahead of
Everybody
you. Don't
help
feel
me.
bad, and I got it.
It's Hootie and the Blowfish, for goodness sake.
Let her cry.
Let her cry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But that was their first attempts together. Can you imagine? It's a little frustrating, you know, to know that was Mark and Dean and Darius and Sony's first attempt. But I've been around with and written with a couple of them and written with Sony, and they're fantastic writers. Like, God gave them the gift. Their story getting together is amazing, but he went through some struggles, and that's what he writes about now. So if you want to be into what one of the guys in Hootie and the Blowfish is about, Sony, he's not going to be afraid to say, this is me now. And it saved him. You know, it's a beautiful story.
Well, let me ask you, as someone who has written a lot of songs and a lot of hits, and
obviously can't remember,
seen a lot of success. He remembers none of them, but he's done some good things. Have you ever written a song and you record it and you listen back to it and you go, I don't know if I can let anybody else listen to this. It's too raw.
Okay, well, yeah, that's how I got signed. First of all, I only want to be with you, everybody. Okay, all right, come on. All right, so
I knew he was going to do it eventually.
Crazy. I don't think I've heard a word either one of you have. Nothing you've thought, Rhino. I've heard nothing you've thought, and I've heard nothing you've said because no, Waiting on Joe, which Morgan Freeman starred in the video, which changed my life. I promise you, I didn't think it was a song. 3 verses about 3 totally different things, glued together by Joe. A lot of Joes in my family. And I recorded on a little 1680 recorder. And on my own, I'd had the biggest producers work with me in the world, and it wasn't getting done. And I did that, and next thing you know, I've got a record deal from something I didn't even have a clue what I was doing. And because the song was so real. And I didn't even know it was a song. So, yes, that was a play. And then after that, I said, well, now I know how to write. I mean, it had to be that.
It has to hurt.
It had to hurt. And it was not a song. It was medicine for me about a lot of stuff going on. And ends with my uncle dying of cancer. I'd passed 33 and hadn't had a hit yet. And he passed away at 33 of cancer. He was a mayor of Clarksdale. And I realized that wasn't old anymore because I was 9, you know. And, so the train was the metaphor for the cancer. And Morgan, I had to have somebody explain it when it became a real song out there. So he did a great job.
It's a lot trickier to be a good songwriter and to make that connection with the audience than anybody thinks. And
it's
you have some people that is their talent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Their talent is in the songwriting. They don't have a performance career.
Yeah.
Guy from Macomb, Dan Tyler. And I know you know who he is.
Yeah, sure I do.
Not a performer, but one heck of a songwriter.
But I'd rather hear him tell us about his songs than anybody that ever performed it. And that's what the Mockingbird's all about. I know we may be going into a break.
We are here in just a second, but I'm trying to set it up.
Well, you're setting it up. In Leland, Mississippi, April 8 and 9, I got over a dozen of my hit songwriting pals coming in. 100. I mean, it's so many hits, it's stupid.
Well, can you hang on through the break?
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm going to cover all of this.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Dan Tyler, for Kenny Rogers wrote 20 years ago, which was about Macomb, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Most people
don't
know that. He told me that story himself.
So many great songwriters from this state.
The songwriters, the talent, and the stories, and that's what you're going to get at the Mockingbird Festival, and we'll talk about that
on steroids
right when we come back from the break here in the Element Wealth Studio. Steve Azar in studio with us.
Hello, Mississippi.
On Middays, back in just a few. Welcome back to Element Wealth Studios here on Middays, SuperTalk Mississippi. Steve Azar in studio with us, and if I don't go straight to the Mockingbird Festival, we're going to talk about squeegees or something for the next 10 minutes.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah, well, we could pull it off. Let's get to the festival now. Yeah, the second year, isn't it?
Yeah, I started doing this just to reunite with some old friends. You do a lot of co-writing in Nashville. I love to write alone, and I've been writing alone since I moved back 11 years ago, but there is something so wonderful about your friends. Along the way, they finally started having hits. It made us realize that we weren't as crazy as we thought. You needed that. We love to celebrate each other when those moments happen. So I started doing like a little series, and we're in South Dakota. We sell a couple nights out in a row. I'll bring a couple guys. So it's very Bluebird style, but we call it the Mockingbird. We took a little bit of that, but very intimate. But I decided that, how great would it be to do a festival on the farm? I love celebrating agriculture. A lot of friends that farm. They've been farming for generations, and they work their tails off. Got some friends down there, Tim Zapponi and Angie, and they took their old gin on their property and turned it into like this event space, right?
Oh, cool.
So I started looking around going like, this would be great for an outdoor festival, bring the stage. Anyway, we did it last year. We had a great show, great crowd. And so now the only problem is I got friends going like, why didn't you invite me? And I'm going, so we're probably going to have like 15 of them, I think, ish.
Oh, wow.
Give or take. And a lot of hits. A lot of hits. I had J.T. Hardy on the show the other day, and he wrote "Smile" with Uncle Cracker, and they're just songs like that. James House has written more Joe Bonamassa songs on the last 3 albums than anybody with Joe. But he wrote "Broken Wing" by Martina. He wrote "I Ain't That Lonely Yet" by Dwight Yoakam. He wrote "In a Week or Two" by. There's just, it never ends. Clay Mills wrote some Darius hits. I mean, it never stops. So we've got these generations of hits. And the thing about the festival is, first of all, it's BYOB. Second of all, you bring your lawn chair. Third of all, you can give your wristband to somebody else the next day. I don't care. I want this to be as fun, and I want people to show up and understand what it's like to sit there and get to know the song from its core. There's nothing better. And the personalities of these guys are all very unique. There's a lot of wit. They're nuts like I am, but even I think they're more nuts than me. But
they would argue.
Yeah, they would argue. But it's moving for me to be around it. There's never a time when I get tired of the same joke that they tell, because I've been around the same joke. But they tell it like it's the first time, and they're so proud of it. But when they play the songs, and especially when I was a part of the beginning of them, hey, listen to this, and the next thing you know, it's a number 1 record or a top 5, and you're going like, we're not crazy after all. So it's great. It's in Leland, Mississippi. You can get tickets at, let me get this right, because I messed with my wife the other day on the Paul Gallo show. I thought she had the number wrong. But it's mockingbird2022.eventbrite.com. Tickets, they're cheap. The tickets are cheap. They're $35 for 2 days, and like I said, give somebody else your band the next day is $17.50 a day, and then you get to bring your own beverages, hang out. The songwriters aren't hiding; they're hanging with everybody.
Well, and that, I think that's the term I was going to use. This does not sound like a festival. It sounds like a hangout. It sounds like getting together with a bunch of cool people, making new friends, and learning a bunch of stuff, and a bunch of inside emotional, personal stuff.
Yeah, and it's just loose. And we got Doe's Food Truck, and we got the Lost Pizza Food Truck. I always turn to them. They're good friends of ours. We had somebody from Jackson reach out doing crawfish, and I said, I'm in, but they didn't respond back. And I said, so if you're listening, where'd you go? We could do crawfish. I'd dig that.
Come on.
So anyway, but we're excited about it, and it's the second year. And look, it's about filling up hotels in our area and celebrating the arts. This is Music City coming to the birthplace of American music. I think it's a collision that needs to happen. And the Mississippi Delta on the farm, man, it's just perfect, you know?
Well, I've got the tagline for you. I don't know if you've got a tagline.
I need a tagline.
Here's your tagline. The songs you probably know, the names you probably don't, and the stories you definitely should.
How did you just do that?
I don't know.
Did you write that? That's not. You just looked at me and said that.
I don't have it written down.
Okay, you're going to have to write that down.
I'll
because
write it down for you.
That's beautiful. That's better than my stupid ad I did.
Oh, no, it's not. I heard your ad.
And it doesn't taste
fine.
as good as French fries. I can tell you that.
Nothing tastes as good as French fries.
Nothing.
Except more French fries.
Well, I got to tell you, that's a problem with me. I got French fry issues. I mean, there's something wonderful about them. I'll shut up now because I know we got to move on, I guess.
The support group meets on Tuesdays at 4:30.
I could use it.
By the way, just come on in. We'll save you a chair. It'll be fine.
I could use it.
Mockingbird Festival, less than a month away.
Yeah, April 8 and 9. Come on, come stay at the hotels down there. We got a bunch of True by Hiltons there now, and the Hampton Inn and the Holiday Inn Express, and we have downtown hotels. You know, it's a great opportunity. A lot of the writers will be staying in those hotels, and I want everybody to come out. I mean, to me, it's a more of an intimate thing. So the number in my head is not huge. It's not like doing the Mighty Mississippi or doing some big festival where we want 20,000 people. I don't want that. I want it to be quaint and everybody really be able to understand the magic of what a song's like when it's being told. What did you just say? Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, let's see. What did I say? Oh, yeah, the songs you probably know, the names you probably don't, and the stories you definitely should.
What is that? How did you do that?
I tell you, my brain
happens
is
up
weird.
there?